Hello YouTube, I'm Jordan Mustang 87, and now it is time for us to get on with a racing game masterpiece. Considered by many to be the most critically acclaimed racing game of all time, and also regarded more or less as the epitome of where racing games, as we know them today at least, peaked. And this game is basically the epitome of knowing just where sim racing games would ultimately reach their peak according to most people. Considered by some to be the holy grail of all racing games. And although this game does receive its fair share of criticism for a litany of different reasons, I still believe that the expectations for this game were still lived up to nonetheless, and amidst all of the criticism, it is still widely regarded as being one of the greatest sim racing games of all time, and just racing games in general. And yes, I will willingly die to defend this game if that's what it takes, because of just how amazing the content really is. That, as well as many other things. Especially considering this game literally has well over 700 cars in terms of the vehicles you can choose from. It is, of course, Gran Turismo 4. The fourth installment of the mainstream lineup. This game, after going through a slew of delays, eventually got released by late December in 2004. First came out in Japan, of course, because, as you know, Japanese racing game series. And then the rest of the world would get this game a few months later, as it would then be the North America region that would get this game in February of the following year, 2005, and then we Europeans would get this game a few weeks after that by mid-March of 2005. And also, I think this was the first mainstream game to be released in Korea as well, according to the fandom page for this game, which technically is from the Gran Turismo wiki. That's where I'm more or less getting this information from, if you're asking. So, developed by Polyphony Digital, basically the developer for all the GT games, as you might have guessed. Published by Sony, and this game would achieve its fair share of milestones. And I figured I might as well show this description as well, because I have checked to see if it's possible for me to get 100,000 credits in my GT profile, and I am confident in saying it is. But it does come with a catch, because I also have a GT4 prologue saved game file in here as well, which I will dive further into with greater detail. So this is more or less a description on how you can do all that. And I am going to be feeling a bit hesitant here, because since I have a saved profile both of Gran Turismo 3 and Gran Turismo 4 Prologue, it's put me in a very difficult position over how exactly this is going to be started, but I do have an idea. So this is the main menu, and of course, as you can see there, the main car this game is showcasing is obviously, well, a Ford GT. Ironically, Kazunori Yamauchi's favourite car, and oddly enough, my favourite car as well. So, in terms of our... And now the demo is loading. I am really hopeful in saying this is not going to be copyrighted. Yeah, I just skipped past that if you're asking. So anyway, in terms of our main menu options, and I am going to try and make this quick, we have Arcade Mode, Gran Turismo Mode, which is basically simulation mode, Replay Theatre, Options, Save, and Credits, and also, once we win the Gran Turismo World Championship, we also unlock the ending movie, which is also the credits, i.e. So we are going to head over to our options now and change a few things. Obviously, I use manual transmission because from here onwards I always use manual transmission. At least ever since I got through Gran Turismo 4 Prologue. Well, ever since I started that. Anyway, doesn't matter. I'm probably just confusing you. And changing my aspect ratio from 4:3 to 16:9 because obviously widescreen TVs were very much becoming a thing during this time. And it's only natural that because I do have a flat screen TV, I might as well do the same. And don't really need to change anything on the picture quality. And also just going to turn everything down just a little bit. Probably turn it down from 14 to 10. Of course, I will have to turn off the replay and race music because, well, I have to at least be appeasable to YouTube's copyright system bots. As much as I really want to play the music, unfortunately, if I do decide to play the music, then some of my videos might not be available, so that's why I turned it off. And everything else doesn't really matter. I'll keep that the way it is. And controllers don't really matter because this game does have analog compatibility, which means it pretty much caters to all my needs in that department. So, in terms of speed, obviously going to go miles. This is also the first time where we actually get to choose between miles and kilometers in terms of our speed. I'm obviously choosing miles because, well, I prefer imperial units over metric units. And in terms of the power unit I'm going to be using, I'm going to switch from brake horsepower to horsepower. And torque doesn't really matter, I'm just going to keep that the same. And that should pretty much be everything from the options. And now, I will try to do a self-explanatory display. Oh yeah, I should probably turn off autosave as well, now that I think about it. That's one thing I almost forgot to do. If I can find it. Here it is. So turning that off. Okay. Oh, I can also change the demo start time as well. Not going to mess with that because this game will basically be played entirely from simulation mode. Because, well, arcade mode from this game onwards to Gran Turismo 6, if I'm not mistaken, none of those games require any game progression from arcade mode. From this game onwards to GT6, if I'm not mistaken, the game progression is only in simulation mode. So this is our main menu for simulation mode. So we can basically transfer our game save data from either our GT3 or GT4 prologue files Of course, I'm not going to be doing that just yet because, well, it'll put me in an awkward position, and I will explain why in a bit. So we get used car dealerships, also get the GT Auto, and also the license centre as well, which is obviously something that I'll be starting with after thinking hard enough about this. And we also get beginner events, replay theatre, and we also get cars from all sorts of different countries as well, including Australia, Korea, Sweden, Holland, even Belgium, believe it or not, is in the car selection screen for dealerships. And we also get regional events as well. We get American events, European events, and Japanese events are also somewhere around here. Here they are. Again, like I said, there's a ton of shit to get through here, and I am trying to provide as much of a self-explanatory overview as I can. So aside from that, we also get driving park, jukebox, power and speed, which, as a lot of you know, is obviously machine test. We also get city courses, and also the newly added photo travel mode, which I may or may not consider showing off at some point. And we also get the world circuits, along with dirt and snow. So those are our different racetrack types, and we also get special conditions as well, which is obviously rally events, because we get to race on wet tarmac, dirt, and for the first time ever in the series, we also get to race in the snow, basically giving us all of the rally conditions we could ask for. And we also get used car dealerships as well. Basically, we can more or less buy a second-hand car from here and potentially pick our starting car as well. However, I'm not going to be doing this too soon because I figure it's a much smarter decision for me to hold on to my money, but these are some of the choices you get to start with, and if you do want to start off with a used car, then, well, by all means be my guest. And we also get driving missions as well, which is newly added. Basically, this is just another one of those ways in where we can more or less work our way from the back to the front. And there's a lot of different types of driving missions as well, something which I'll get on with later on. And we also get second-hand cars in the used cars 90s lot. Some people even consider the 90s to pretty much be where car culture peaked. Even though I would argue the 2000s did have plenty of good-looking cars as well. But that's just what I think. I'm basically just here to showcase examples and exhibits as well, because that's what I like to do. Anyway, so hopefully you get the idea. And one other thing that we also get, like for example if I head to Italy, and if I go to... let's head to... yeah, let's do Alfa Romeo. I'm pretty sure they have one. There are also a lot of manufacturers in this game that also have events, or in other words, one-make race events. Something that has been featured in the series before with Gran Turismo 3, and also Gran Turismo 2. Basically, this has just been a part of the series as a whole since the beginning, I think. Or more or less since Gran Turismo 2, where we've had one-make races. There are obviously model-specific race events, where whichever car you choose to use, you can use at any time. So we get new cars, like for example these cars here, cars that were only made in the last couple of years or months. And we also get legendary cars, cars which we are no doubt familiar with from decades gone by. As of which we do technically have classics such as the Alfa Romeo Spider, the Alfa Romeo Giulia, and also the Giulia Sprint GTA 1600, one of my personal favourite Alfa Romeos, and also the all-conquering DTM Alfa Romeo, which also conquered the BTCC ironically, the Alfa Romeo 155 V6. So hopefully that more or less gives you an overview of everything you more or less come to expect. And also tuning shop as well. Obviously these are very brand specific tuning shops, as you might have guessed. And the rain just got even heavier outside my house today, at the time of recording this. And we also get the GT Auto as well. Unfortunately we cannot enter that yet because we need a car first. And I will be heading over to the license centre to get my first couple of cars. But as to how I handle the rest, well, stay tuned to find out. So, hopefully that gives you everything you need to know. And let's now head over to the homepage, since I've now spent the last 17 minutes trying to discuss all of this to you without ranting. So this is our garage. Obviously we get to select whatever cars we have in here. Obviously I have nil cars at the moment because obviously it's empty. And basically we'll just go through the rest. So we get Photolab, options, we can trade cars, we can also save the game. I did turn autosave off for a reason. And we also get the newest edition of a video game diary, which, believe it or not, I think is only featured in this game so far. And since we have nothing recorded in our diary yet, we can obviously go nowhere, forwards or backwards. As apparently in year 1 we are starting in early April. And so here is our status screen. Now, there's a bit of a kerfuffle with how I'm going to do the game transfers here, because, well, one thing that's strange is if you have both a GT4 prologue file and a GT3 file, and I will just read this here, there is a GT4 prologue game save data on the memory card. If you have already attained the green license, you can exchange for the National B license. If you attained the red license, you can exchange for the National B and National A licenses. Do you want to transfer these licenses? Be careful, as you can only transfer these licenses only once. So basically what this saved file gives us is an auto transfer for us automatically claiming our B and A licenses, and basically we don't have to go through the trouble of going through all the licenses. However, I think differently, because I want to very much show as much in-game progression as I can, and that's partly the reason why I'm not going to do this. At least not until I'm done with the A license, because I want to show that I have earned my stripes. And that's also partly the reason why I'm not going to get the 100,000 credit transfer just yet. I think you need at least 100,000 credits in your saved GT3 file, as well as, from what I know at least, 11 cars in your garage in order to actually make the 100,000 credit transfer possible. I think that's how it is, because last time I checked, I did manage to get the maximum allowable credit transfer, which is 100,000 credits, if you're asking. So obviously, we've done nothing in this game yet, and I'm not going to do the credit transfer just yet, because obviously I want to make sure that I have earned this, because, well, I believe in working for things, and that's what I'm going to do here. At least that's what I was raised to have. So we also get A-spec points, our overall career, and also a B-spec profile as well, which is probably something that I will likely never use, not even for the endurance events, because, well, I want to do those myself, since I have been shown it's possible, and I want to show it's possible again, because I can. And there's all the other details that, in all honesty, I don't really feel obliged to explain. Okay, hopefully that more or less gives you everything you need to know about this game. And now, we will actually begin playing this game by starting with the B license. So, after 22 minutes of trying to explain almost everything without doing anything in the game, that'll do it for the introduction to Gran Turismo 4. And next time, we will actually get started with the game. So, yeah. The beginning of Gran Turismo 4.